Hello.
Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Sue Alexander. And,
I'm Reg Lenny.
And welcome to Rijooviness TV. And we are so excited that you've joined us today, wherever you find yourself in the world, and whether you are watching us on our YouTube channel at Rijooviness TV or on our platforms of social media. Thank you so much for joining us. And our channel is all about health and wellness and positivity and giving you the ability to live the best life you possibly can, living the life you love in the body that you love to live in. And we've been discussing so many topics that really do affect just doing that. And today we are joined by Sara Di Carlo from Hastens Beds, who will be discussing sleep. Now, I'm sure there's so many people like me that sometimes really struggle sleeping. Sometimes it's because we are just so excited about life that we feel we haven't got time to go to sleep. And other times because you might have so much on your mind, or maybe it could be something else. So we are really going to delve into sleep today. So if you have friends and family that have problems with sleeping, insomnia, that they're really struggling with what to do next about getting a great night's sleep and the effects and causes of that, then just share the YouTube channel or our Rijooviness TV link with them, and they can click on right now and join us in the studio live. So
let's bring on Sara. All right.
Sara, welcome to the show. And Sara is the retail director for the UK and Europe for Hastens Beds, who have been crafting sleep since 1852. And I know I've laid on these beds, Sara, and they are, well, you just don't want to get up. So thank you so much for joining us. So please share your wisdom with us and tell us really, your view about sleep.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I never turn down an offer to talk about sleep and the importance of sleep. So it's great to be here today. I think how I always start is about the true values and really the mission of our CEO. And our CEO is such an inspirational guy. His name is Jan Reeder, and he is 5th generation Hastens. So he was born into sleep. And Jan really wants to save the world. He wants people to live healthier, happier, and longer lives, like both yourself, Sue and Reg. And he believes we can do that and achieve that through sleep. And that might seem like a mission of a crazy person, but it's actually a very real reality. And we know that from the number of clients that contact us and tell us how much it's changed their life, being their relationship, being the children sleeping longer in their beds, being some physical ailments that are diminished. So we really know the importance of sleep and the importance of sleeping in a correct bed, because the tools have to be as good as the mindset. So Hastens, if you don't know, the brand is a wonderful brand that's been going since 1852. Originally, but it's formed in Sweden. So originally the founder was a master saddler. And part of a master saddler's role in those days was to create also the quilt for the horse to put the saddle on. And that progressed as horses were less used, and in fact the motor car was used for seats in the motor car. And he came to a point where it was like, what do I choose? Do I focus on the motor care, or do I focus on beds and mattress? And his passion led him to develop beds, and largely most of our beds are made in the same way as they were all those years ago, in the same factory as well all those years ago.
Wow.
And experience has never, and know-how has never been lost. It's been handed from generation to generation. As I said, we're on the 5th generation, and we employ generations of families within our production in Köping, in a small town in Sweden. And I think one of the most important things to say about our production and our product is that when you go to production, it's so quiet. It's so quiet. You could actually hear a pin drop, because most of the activities are all done by hand. So when you receive a Hastens bed, you know it's all produced by hand. And our beds, again, as I always call us the oldest startup, because we're consistently reinventing things and challenging ourselves to do better. And I think one of our values at the time was about creating a natural bed. And today we still have natural beds made with natural products. So horsehair we use wool, flax, cotton, everything that we take out of the world, we're able to put back in. And I think that's really important because, again, as you'll know, with lifestyle, for you and your clients that you work with, and also your followers, is that we're in such a world now where we have surrounded by so many chemicals, and those chemicals have a really adverse effect on how we sleep, how we reproduce, our weight. So you could do all the exercises that you want to do in the world, but if your microbiomes are imbalanced in your gut and you don't have the right bacteria that's in there, that can affect your weight, which also a byproduct of sleep or lack of sleep can also affect your weight. So I think it's really important, and this week is National Sleep Week, to really be tackling this and bringing this subject I think to the forefront of what you guys are doing and your followers and tribe and really to just say that you are all on the right path, because no more chemicals, no more unnatural fabrics. Let's really work inside our body through sleep, through nutrition, through fitness, and the outside is much easier to live with. So sleep. So what can I tell you about sleep? I can tell you that sleep, every one of us do it. Some of us need more hours, some of us need less hours. But really, we get asked a lot by clients that come into store, so how many hours do I need? And our answer is generally 7.5 hours. So we sleep in certain sleep cycles, and ideally what you need to be doing every day is setting your alarm clock at the right time and working back 7.5 hours, and that's the time I go to sleep. So I wake up at 6:30 every morning. I go to sleep at 11. And this is really important, because if you wake up in the wrong part of your cycle, you will feel really groggy. One of the important pieces around sleep as well is about having undisturbed sleep, about having that quality of sleep. So that's what you'll measure when you have your iPhone watch or your app on your phone. And the quality of our sleep is affected in many ways, be it through alcohol before we go to bed. So again, the rule is don't drink alcohol an hour before your bed, or for every unit that you have, you need to chase with a pint of water and leave an hour before you go to bed. If you've had 3 glasses of wine, then stop 3 hours before you go to your bed at 11 if you're like me, and chase with water. And I know we all like to live a bit reckless at times, but this will actually help aid your sleep. We talk a lot about in Hastens about having a really healthy kind of sleep routine, and we call it health hygiene. And that as well is about the environment that you have in your bedroom. So making sure that perhaps your window's open, not sleeping with the heating on. Having a room between 16 and 18 degrees is optimal, but equally having fresh air is really good for the body and aid in sleep. We also, talk about having a sleep routine. So an hour before you go to bed, no gadgets, and really train your body into winding down. So unfortunately for ladies, the last thing we do at night is take our makeup off, and we're exposing ourselves to bright lights, which is actually making us more awake. So try and do that maybe after you come home from work. So there's these certain habits that we have that really affect the way we sleep. And remember, we didn't have light in our homes or electricity, like just only really the last 100 years. And that's really affected the way we live our lifestyle. We can go to bed later now. And actually we were programmed to sleep much earlier and get up much earlier as well. So we used to track in line with the sun and the moon. And so our bodies have really had to get used to this change in our lifestyle. And, evolutionary, we still really haven't caught up. But I think largely it's really important to say that within our cycles, we have something called REM. And this really is around stages 3 and 4 of when we sleep at night. And this is one of the most important stages, because this is where our body and our brain is washed and it's rejuvenated. It's where our short-term memories turn into long-term memories. And this is where the dreams start to happen. So if you're having funky dreams, so I had to say about one yesterday. So mine was, I was trying to stop a bunch of guinea pigs escaping from a stables. And I was in charge of these guinea pigs, and I just couldn't stop them leaving. And I was like, whoa. And we think, well, where did that come from? And actually, if you look back on certain things within your day, subconsciously or unconsciously, they've interpreted your dream. So there's you processing some of the things that you've seen that day. And I know why I saw guinea pigs, because I read a book to my daughter before her bed, which had guinea pigs in. So REM is extremely important for cleaning our brain, washing our brain, rejuvenating our brain. The stage before that, I always think, is really important for muscles, for resting muscles before we sleep, because our muscles must be in absolute rest in order for them to repair and to rejuvenate. So two really most important stages of sleep. Also worth mentioning, growth hormones repair as well during REM. So there's a lot of activity that takes place within this important stage. And this is generally the stage that you're in before you wake up in the morning. Now, if you're sleeping in the wrong bed, or if you're drinking your coffee after 2:00 in the afternoon, these can have adverse effects on the quality of your sleep. Now, you might say, oh, but my bed is so comfy. Well, sometimes it's actually can be linked to breathing and not breathing properly in your sleep. So one of the other things, if you come into a Hastens store, the first thing we like to do with any client is educate them on the importance of sleep. Because whether you're in the business to buy a bed or not, we're not interested. What we want is to make sure that people live happier, longer, and healthier lifestyles. And that means stop being grumpy because you can't sleep and arguing with your wife, not being a very nice colleague because you're moody and you need your coffee fix. It just means something as basic as having a really qualitative good night's sleep. And when you are in the right bed that's for you, you will not wake up in the night. And I could not believe this, because before I worked for Hastens, I always woke up in the night. I always had a cup of water by my bed. That was always my habit. And it was normal for me to wake up in the night and see that I was in a different position and toss and turn. This isn't normal. If you're in the right bed, you will sleep from the minute you do. Is that your normal too?
You're not sleeping in the right bed then, because it's my normal. So I think a lot of
you're definitely not sleeping in the right bed. And a couple of things to kind of throw into this is most of the population in the Western world is sleeping on a memory foam mattress. So I don't know, Sue, Reg, what type of bed that you're on?
I'm actually sleeping on a memory foam. And Reg is very much like you, and it always needs to be natural fiber, and that it's not made of anything synthetic. Our whole mantra is very much about everything affects everything. And I must just say that if anyone is listening to this and you just need to share this information, what's coming from Sara from Hastens is incredible information. So do share the link with everyone on Rijooviness TV so that we can get this across to as many people as possible, because I think we all know people that sleep. So going back to what you were saying is
back. So we should all sleep through the night, and ideally we should wake up on our side or our back. And again, if you wake up on your back, you're generally in a really good bed that works for your body. It's your body in the night is training your muscles. Remember that first stage 1 and 2 where you're kind of stage 2 and 3 where your muscles are trying to rest and you're trying to relax them, and your body is automatically trying to find ways within the night of sleeping and finding comfort. And so if you're sleeping on the right bed, you generally, and actually in a Hastens bed, you'll probably flip on your back. And that's everybody's like, no way. But it's true. I have Hastens beds. I've always been a front sleeper. I wake up on my back. My babies have Hastens beds. They were always front sleepers as babies. They wake up on their backs. So one of the things is you wake up on your back. But going back to memory foam mattresses, and I know there's a lot more healthier alternatives out there these days, but let's think about the contents of something that's made of memory foam. And what do we think of? Foam, which is made up of petrochemicals. And
off-gassing.
Sorry?
Off-gassing.
Yeah, off gasoline. And we think that's okay.
The fumes that it's being put off, especially by fire retardants and that sort of thing.
Exactly. And you know, you add into the mix, first of all, you've got the petrochemicals that make the foam, and then you've got the fire retardant chemicals. And you're automatically, it doesn't matter what you've eaten, you're suddenly, you know, you're healthy because you go to the gym and you look after your diet, but then suddenly you're sleeping on a memory foam mattress, which is ingesting your skin, is breathable. It's a breathable material, okay? And your skin is breathing in and accepting these toxins, which can cause weight gain. It can cause hormone issues. And particularly, you know, the more cheaper end of the memory foam mattresses have, you know, other associated disbenefits when it comes to health. And so we've never really questioned as well why we received the little label. I know when I got my memory foam mattress years ago, it had a little paper that said, by the way, your bed will probably smell. Unroll it and it will smell. Leave it to air for a few days. It's completely normal, the smell. And I never questioned it. And now that I work for Hastens, I know it's the retardant, it's the foam. And that's horrifying. And we put our children on these beds and we're like, why?
But that's all of our environment as well. It's, you know, like the new car smell or the new toy smell or the new whatever smell. You know, people think, oh, that's such a wonderful smell. I love that smell. Well, you don't realize that those smells are actually attached to something that is affecting your body and your mind in dramatic ways.
Exactly. So I'm pleased to say that Hastens beds don't smell because they're all natural materials. Right. But let's also think about when we're trying to get a good night's sleep on a memory foam mattress. And again, all my life, I've generally had a memory foam mattress. So when I say I go to bed with my water and I toss and turn in the night and I might go to the bathroom and I get hot, so I have one leg out of the duvet and then it comes back in again. Now that's all linked to the bed that you're sleeping in. Because memory foam is not a natural material. It cannot allow air to circulate around there. So therefore, might have a great comfort, but actually it's affecting your quality of your sleep because you're getting hot. Add to the fact that we lose around 1 litre of water naturally anyway a night. And this is sinking into foam. And then, you know, then you're opening up a whole different chapter when it comes to bacteria. And we talk about bedroom health. This is gross. Yes. Bed bugs. This is where it comes from.
It's like in the same bath water that you washed yourself in yesterday. It's the same. Exactly. But we think it's normal. No one tells us, and what we don't know. So it's really important to spread that message. So why do you not wake up hot in a Hastens bed? Well, again, our beds are made of natural materials, and those natural materials that we use almost act like a natural climate control. You know, the wool that we have keeps you warm in winter and cool in summer. And again, I get asked a lot of questions. Well, you talk about fire retardants. It's against the law not to have fire retardants in the USA or the UK. Well, yes, it is. But we treat our beds with a natural fire retardant. It's a salt solution that we developed because we did not want to compromise on the natural state of a Hastens bed. And so this, I guess, pursuit of having something so natural and on something so close to the body is something that we've always worked towards. And so leaving a memory foam mattress behind is probably one of the first steps in getting a good night's sleep, because you certainly probably won't wake up wanting to drink water or you've got that hot feeling in your bed. The other point is the other myth that I want to kind of dispel is the one around firm mattresses. And again, culturally, I was always brought up, oh, yeah, you sleep on the floor if you've got a back problem. Do you? Really?
You know, certain countries, it's cultural. You sleep on the floor. You sleep on a hard, on a hard base with a thin mattress, so you really feel the wood of the bed or the floor. Now, this is not good for our body, because think about the gravity. So again, when you're looking to buy a bed or a mattress, what you should be looking for is a perfect alignment of the spine. So if your partner or your friend is behind you when you're shopping, when you lie in that bed, you should see no kind of imbalance of your spine. It should not at all be diagonal in any way. It should always be horizontal. And you can see from the tip of the neck to the small of your back, perfect straight. And that's because you lay in the bed. And that's what we look at. So when you come into a Hastens store, we do something called a muscle test, where we lay you on the floor and teach you that the reaction that your muscles have when it comes into contact with something hard. And again, most of us are sleeping on a run tension bed in addition to a memory foam mattress. So think about the firmness. So if your muscles are fighting against the gravity, and you're putting yourself in a firm bed every night, you're going to cause injury at some point, or you've got to exacerbate a current injury as well. You should lay in the bed, and your bed, you may not like it or not, should be soft. And again, it's all about gravity and giving the correct support to your hips, so they're not over dipped. If you've gone through things like the menopause or age, so maybe you may have had your mattress, really happy with it 10, 20 years, and you're suddenly like, oh, I've got aches and pains. Just look in that and just revisit your mattress or your bed, because again, our body changes as we get older. Menopause has a big effect on the body and the joints. So it's always really good to go back and be refitted into a bed. So just to kind of recap is memory foam, bin it. Don't believe in the firm and go for the soft. And this should really help support a better night's sleep. Now, the last thing really is my secret recipe to sleep is breathing. And we work with an amazing guy called Patrick McEwen, and he is a leading breathing expert. And he's created a tape called the Myo tape, and it takes around your mouth, not over it. And he's created it for children, and he's created it for adults. And what this tape does, it retrains you as a person to sleep through, to sleep and breathe through your nose in your sleep, because we shouldn't breathe through our mouth. Okay, maybe if we're talking, but when we sleep, it should always breathe through the nose. And the importance of sleeping properly is that, again, we are better at making decisions. We are more alert. We're more functional. We're not reliant on coffee. We're happier. But equally, if you've got the right bed in the right tension, but you're not breathing through your nose, it can have really adverse effects on your health. And poor sleep quality and not breathing properly through your nose has real health consequences. It's in terms of chronic diseases, they're much elevated. So we look at certain heart diseases. We look at, unfortunately, things like Alzheimer's, which both of them in more and more studies have shown lack of sleep, but also not breathing in the right way throughout your sleep can cause these chronic diseases later on in life. So it's never too late to start breathing through your nose when you sleep. So if you think about when you're snoring, the back of your throat is vibrating, but it's really difficult to make a snoring sound if you hold your nose. And this is the whole concept around breathing through your nose in your sleep. It encourages the right amount of oxygen to enter your body, so it helps you have a more restful night. But it also, sleep ailments like sleep apnea is extremely dangerous, and again is one of the causes of Alzheimer's, also Parkinson's later on in life. So all of these things are really intrinsically synced, and it's about education when it comes to sleep. So I'm really super happy to be here today to speak to you and your followers and your clients, to just really spread that word that sleep is super important. But start with the bed. It's one of the easiest things to do, and then go for the breathing. Make sure it's not memory foam. And I promise you, you will not drink water again. You will not have a snorer next to you. You will notice a massive difference to your dieting. Like, I hate using the word diet, but you know, if you're wanting to lose your weight and you're doing everything you can, but you're still, it's not happening. There's too much cortisol in the in the body, and this again is linked to sleep. So sleep is a very basic thing that we need in our lives to help our bodies and our mind function properly. So yeah, so super happy really to be here and talk about it.
Awesome.
And such a mind of
Yes,
information.
what a wealth of knowledge.
I'm just sitting here going, wow.
Yeah.
It's and I do think sleep is underestimated. You know, I was reading a report this morning, which you know, it basically said that 62% of Americans found themselves being sleepy at least 3 times a week, and that's an average. So you know, if you take that across the world, you know, 62% of people 3 times a week approximately are feeling sleepy. And that's got to be because they're just not getting the quality of sleep that they need. So, you know, you've shared with us huge amounts of information about what we can do.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, so how does your sleep system work? So you had mentioned about fitting the bed. So is that, do you have people that come out to people's homes, or say, for example, you know, somebody from across the world wanted to buy one of your beds? How does that work?
Yeah, so ideally we like to have clients in the store so we can really look at the spine alignment within the bed. But clearly we do have clients who don't necessarily have a Hastens store near them. So there's certain beds, if we know the weight and height of the client, if we can see how they're sleeping, we've been doing, which has been really amazing because of COVID, we've been doing more virtual consultations because most of our stores have been closed. And it's enabled us to test it, and it's enabled us to see how accurate that we can assess a client within their own bed and look at where the issues lay. Because things like having broadness of shoulders, certain beds so might not be suitable. Definitely having a firm isn't suitable. But if you come into one of our showrooms, each of our beds has a different and unique feel to it. So something that's more softer would be beneficial, because and with added pillows to ensure that you've got a perfect alignment of the spine. So we like to ask for pictures of the form. We like to see what the current bed looks like with them in it, so their partner general will take a photo. And we know we have at least 2 or 3 beds where we can reliably say, based on that yes, this is the perfect bed for you. And we do that, and the clients are very happy. But ideally, it's an amazing experience to come into store. But even if you just want to come in for a chat and know more about sleep, we love to talk about sleep.
I have actually done that because I used to live in Walton-on-Thames in Surrey, and there's a beautiful store there. And I remember very distinctly spending a good hour just enjoying lying on a Hastens bed. And I think that creating the space to have a beautiful bed in is all very important, which sort of brings me to the next question about bedding, Sarah. Maybe you can just share, because I know that Hastens also do bedding. Can you talk us through a little bit about pillows and duvets and the sort of the elements around the actual bed itself, because that's just as important. You can't just have a full bed and then have, you know, polyester sheets and dodgy pillows. So can you just share with us the importance of those elements too, please?
Yeah, of course. So one of the interesting things when I joined Hastens, I remember having a training and they were like, yeah, you probably won't need a pillow anymore. I was like, what is this? And actually I don't sleep with a pillow anymore in my bed. My partner still does, but my bed is so perfect to my body. It's almost like when you go into a Hastens store, it's like going to your bespoke tailor. You try the different beds and you find the one that fits you, and if you're sharing your partner. And you can have the tension on either side of the bed different. So mine is a softer my side and my partner is a medium, because that was what our body looked best in. And so again, you know, the spring system is works individually of each other, so you don't feel each other moving in the night, which really helps with sleep and keeps us still in a relationship. But kind of back to that. I don't sleep with a pillow. I'm not particularly broad, and the softness of my bed means that I have a natural elevation to my legs. Even if I'm on my back, they're naturally elevated because of my butt taking up some deep space, which creates like a natural elevation. But on my side, I really don't need a pillow anymore. Whereas my partner has a much flatter pillow. And again, people don't understand the importance of pillows and the importance of trying, if you're buying a bed, buying the pillow at the same time in the showroom. Because again, some clients don't need a pillows. Some need, just maybe a slight, like a standard pillow height. Others need maybe a bit more.
And some people like a whole lot of pillows wrapped around them.
Yeah, and that's not good. It looks beautiful on the bed. Like I love the whole pillow thing on the bed, but definitely sleeping with more than one pillow it's not great. It's not great on your spine. And actually over a period of time, you're causing, injuries to your neck. And if you think about women, we have big handbags. So we're naturally leaning to one side, and then you add the whole neck thing in, it's disaster. But particularly if you're on your mobile phone, heavy handbag. So our bed helps us sleep and recover our muscles. So I think when we're talking about kind of linens and we're talking about pillows and downs and duvets, I think it's really important that you should really test. Most stores, ours, we have a really wide range of pillows that suit the bed that you sleep on. And it's a perfect complement. When it comes to duvets, it's quite funny because, again, it never occurred to me. I always have the same duvet all throughout the year. And it was life-changing because I joined Hastens and I found out that we do light duvets, like in terms of lightweight. And I was like, why did I never buy a light summer duvet? So again, having a light duvet is wonderful for summer, so you still feel really cocooned. And in winter, having a heavier tog. But the interesting thing that you will find when you buy Hastens duvet is the fact how light they feel. They don't feel heavy and weighted down on you. So even if the tog increases with to keep you warmer in winter, you don't really feel an increase in weight. When I swapped one for the other, I thought, gosh, I think I bought a lightweight duvet, and I hadn't. They're naturally really light because of the choice of feathers that we use. Sleeping on cotton sheets, of course, is a given, and we should always sleep on cotton sheets. The interesting thing and mind-blowing, life-changing thing for me was the fact that I always used to spend, well, I didn't actually, I used to send it away, all my linen to be ironed. And I actually learned that you don't have to, because all you need to do is put it on your bed, give it a spray with almost, like a plant spray.
Yes.
And just stretch out. If you've got cotton sheets, just stretch it. Give it a misting and stretch it. Same with your pillows. It doesn't crease. It's amazing.
Well, I've
tried it with
a whole lot of housekeeping time.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I don't even have to sun mine up anymore. I just put it on my bed, give it a spray, straighten it, just a little pull, and it dries straight. It's amazing. So I'm happy to spread that, share that tip.
I'm sure that there's a lot of people out there that will be very happy to hear that, because I think going to bed is a real ritual. And, when you actually go into your bedroom at the end of whatever kind of craziness you've had in your day, you need to think sanctuary. You need to feel calm. You need to feel that what you're looking at is the place that you're going to restore and rebalance. We know that 75% of cell regeneration happens when we go to sleep. So it needs to be a place of calm. And, if you've spent 5 hours ironing sheets, or you've got really crinkly sheets on the bed, I think for a lot of people that can be aesthetically kind of confusing for the result that you want. Yeah. So we will all be there with plant misters rather than spending hours of time laundering. So,
and it's better for the environment, less electricity being used as well.
Well, I liked your idea of not having the electronics. The whole section of my book is about environment and having your bedroom a very calm and peaceful place. And I've noticed with myself as well as with clients, as soon as you remove the electronics and you turn off the lights, one of the rituals that I enjoy is having candlelight for at least an hour before going to bed. And it just, like you said, it just kind of gets all that energy out of the room, and it allows your mind to kind of calm down. Using essential oils, having big plants in the house, all these different types of things make a big difference to the way that you feel when you sleep.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's like we do bedtime routines with children, but we tend to grow out of it as we become adults. But actually the importance of still having a bedtime routine, it triggers the body to know that it's sleep time. So doing, as you said, Reg, like having a ritual with your candles, it's triggering your body that it's okay, this is what we do now before we go to sleep. And so with the lockdown, a lot of sleep has been affected, because of worry. And equally, again, I'll go back to breathing. If you're not breathing properly through your nose in your sleep, this has an increase. This really increases your anxiety levels and depression levels. Same with lack of sleep. So again, linked. But the point being is that when we do prepare for a bedtime routine, we're triggering our brain to, okay, it's time for sleep. But with lockdown, we've got people working, and maybe because not everybody has, a lot of people sleep in studios, so the bed becomes almost like the office, and this stops your brain associating it with sleep. So the only thing that we suggest to do in a bedroom really is to sleep and to have sex and to read, and that's it. Try and do everything else outside the bedroom. If you can't sleep, then get up and walk around, do something, whatever you can outside of the bedroom, and then when you come back in, then your body kind of knows to go back to sleep.
So for those people that have a television in their bedroom, that's definitely a no-no for a lot of people, because it's not allowing you to wind down and relax and enjoy that quality of peacefulness before you sleep. I think a lot of people do, maybe they are trying to unwind at the end of their day. So the television or playing on their phone or computer games, all of those things that now happen in a bedroom that probably 20 years ago didn't happen, is affecting the way that people are having to adapt to the quality of sleep that they're having. And,
yes,
that is fascinating. I just wanted to ask you about the specialist that you bring in. So that's at the shop. So if we went to buy a bed in your clinic, we could also meet the fellow about the breathing techniques. Do you offer anything online or anything as far as those? We
are doing some events relating. I can hopefully introduce you to Patrick. So Patrick doesn't work for us, but he does a number of talks for us. So he has a website called the Buteyko Technique, and also Oxygen Advantage. So he works a lot with SWAT teams, SAS, people that are in really extreme roles where you need to control your breath to be able to control your decision making, because again, poor decision making is down to lack of sleep, but also not breathing correctly. So he really he's incredible. So Oxygen Advantage, and he works with people all over the world who perhaps have sleep apnea, perhaps those who are in REM mode reenact what they're doing, and he gets us all sleeping in properly. But equally, I think one of the most important thing, and I'm really just to sing his praises, is that he does a lot of exercises which are available on YouTube under Patrick McEwen, and he does children's breathing exercises. Now, Patrick has written a book on the importance of breathing in children under the age 5, and which is why he also created the tape as well for younger children, because those under the age of 5 that are mouth breathers in terms of children are 65% more likely to be in special educational needs by the time they turn 8.
Wow.
And that again, and breathing through your nose can really help improve the concentration, but also it can help prevent that in their earlier years. So really, it's about the age before the age of 5, really improving the way that our children sleep. And again, for me, I have a 2-year-old who, 3-year-old now, who's always been a thumb sucker, who's always, snoring. I can hear on the baby monitor, whereas the other 2 are perfectly silent. And that's how we should sleep, perfectly silently. And so for her, we've been working with the Buteyko, with the myotape on breathing. She reads the book. She understands, she relates to what's going on in the book, and with the objective for her to start breathing actually through the nose. And I have to say, it only takes a few weeks really for it to become second nature. And that was what was most mind-blowing in some of his patients, but also people that I know that have used the tape. It literally is just a matter of weeks just to retrain your body. It's amazing. We talk about muscle memory, but we aren't supposed to breathe through our mouth. This is a Western diet. This is a lack of chewing because of our processed food. We're supposed to breathe through our nose, and we're designed to breathe through our nose. So this is a massive game changer for mental health and for physical well-being, and also for our children. Their face shapes change. If they're mouth breathers, Patrick can tell you, he'll know from the shape of their face.
That's great information. We're getting a lot of comments and questions on the show on live here. One of them that you were just touching on, how about acid reflux? People who suffer from that. Now, I know we spoke a little bit about food and that kind of thing, and Sue and I do quite a bit of discussion about food, and we share a lot of that on Rijooviness TV. And the food you eat during the day, right, even from breakfast on. But how about before bed? Is there anything that you can do, or that you've heard from your specialist that could help acid reflux?
I don't know when it comes to acid reflux. I know what beds. So if you go, we do something called, gosh, I completely forgot. It's got adjustable bed. So we do something called the adjustable bed, which is a remote control bed. And having a adjustable bed is good for acid reflux because it stops. I suffered with it terribly when I was pregnant. So spicy foods, oily foods before bed was always a no-no. But in order to minimize that, so thank gosh, after pregnancy it completely went, just having your body in kind of this position really helps. Maybe put in a couple of pillows under your mattress, so you are at a natural angle, really helps. But in terms of diet, yeah, we do say don't have chili foods before bed and oily, but yeah.
I think it is. A lot of that can be created by diet. If people are drinking alcohol, even fizzy drinks can do that. And like you say, spicy food, oily food, things that take a lot to digest, heavy meats, all of those things can really affect your quality of sleep because then you kick in digestion. Absolutely.
And of course, whatever's going through your mind. Because if you're stressed in the mind, your body's going to feel the stress as well. Claire has mentioned about the breathing. She liked your comment about your face actually changing shape when you're breathing through your nose. Explain that to us a little bit.
So, I mean, Patrick would be able to give you a better understanding of it. But it's all about the jaw shape and also about the top of your palate. So it has the jaw seems to come, the front of your face becomes more pronounced than the back, and it's you almost have this like widening here. And again, if you go on his website, you can see a picture, and actually the picture that's featured, a black and white picture, is of Patrick. And that was year on year from being a child to literally in 5 years, the difference that, because he used to be a mouth breather and he didn't know about this. And now he's religiously passionate about educating parents that children really under the age of 5, not just for a physical thing, but as a health thing, we should make sure and find a way of having our children sleep through their noses, because it affects your teeth as a result. So again, hence we see it protruding, but it also affects your palate. but it changes, your face shape. It's quite remarkable.
So we've got your website streaming across the bottom if anybody wants to check that out. Do you have a link on there for the breathing techniques and other information?
No, we don't. But what I can do is I can send you a link to Patrick and his website that you might want to be able to share with
in the comment section below these videos.
Yeah.
Well, Sara, it's been absolutely a joy to speak to you. We've been enthralled and fascinated. And I think you've just, really shared with the world on Rijooviness TV how important sleep is. And what we're going to go on to now is just to sort of other things that people can do to set themselves up right for sleep. So we'd like to say a massive thank you for your time today and sharing.
Thank you.
And, as I said, I cannot wait to get the Hastens bed personally. I know they're absolutely amazing. And they only take about 6 weeks, don't they, to have your very own bespoke bed made for you by hand.
Yeah.
So,
they certainly do.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Maybe one day we can come and do a live presentation in the factory and actually see how they're being done.
Yeah. That'd be amazing. Well, I'll send you all the links. But thank you so much for having me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you very much. All right. Have a great afternoon.
So that was
bye.
Thank you, Sara. That was Sara Di Carlo from Hastens Beds, the finest beds in the world. And I think we all learn an awful lot about the quality of sleep. And one of the things that it's not just about your bed is setting yourself up with everything else. So
as we always say,
everything affects everything.
Everything affects everything.
It does. So we're just going to talk you through a few other things that you can do to set yourself up for a great quality night's sleep. And I'm sure there are many people out there that are insomnia. So
absolutely. And maybe that takes us nicely straight into foods, as we were just talking about. And food is vital to how you sleep and how you feel mentally, emotionally, and physically.
Absolutely. And there's certain foods that really, as we've mentioned already, that can absolutely trigger your digestive system into super mode and trying to sort everything out that you should avoid before you go to sleep. So the amount of food that you consume before you go to sleep is very, very important. Just making sure that you are mindful about quantity. So it is about quantity, and if you've gone out, if you ever go back out to a restaurant again, if that ever happens, then choices, making the right choices, thinking about the fact that whatever you go to bed on is what your body is going to repair and restore on. So if you find yourself having heavy foods and lots of wine, red meat that's very difficult to digest, that in itself will keep you awake at night, and you'll find that your digestive system is trying to work very, very quickly, and it won't allow, as Sara was saying, your body to decompress those muscles to relax.
Absolutely. And like you said, but not only the choice of foods, but the quality of food also makes a massive difference. A lot of people think, if you buy different brands, it doesn't really make a difference besides the price of it. But if you really start looking at the ingredients, is very important. And also food combining is a big thing that a lot of people don't take notice of. And on Rijooviness.com, we've got a number of books that will help guide you through making the right food choices. But we've got clients that it makes dramatic changes just by being aware of the types of foods that you're eating and when you choose to eat them.
I'm a firm believer in protein posting. I think it can be really good to have protein before you go to bed, but it needs to be protein that is easily digestible, so plant-based protein, and often having a protein shake, for instance, before you go to bed, about an hour and a half, 2 hours before you sleep. Again, that gives your body all the nutrients that it needs to work on. And again, on our website, just visit the website. There's so much information on Rijooviness.com. There's a section there of all the different nutritional supplements that we recommend. And of course, it's making sure that you are eating right for the the type of person that you are, for your blood type, for the activity level that you're going to be doing. And it's not necessary to go to bed hungry. You know, I mean, what are your thoughts about going to bed hungry?
Well, I think if you're going to bed hungry, then you're not fueling your body properly during the day. And that's one of the big things that I try to educate people on is fueling. There's a huge difference between fueling your body and filling your body. You know, and you all know, and I know for myself, if you wait too long and you're not eating consistently and you're not eating the right types of foods, you can almost get to that sugar dip where you crave anything, and you almost go a little bit brain dead, and you'll pretty much shove anything in your mouth just to get some food in. And if you're living like that, that's creating all kinds of other problems and issues for your body. So if you are going to bed hungry, instead of thinking about what you should be eating right before you go to bed, maybe take a good look at what you're eating, starting with breakfast, and spacing out your meals and fueling your body with foods that are slow-burning foods that, you know, aren't full of a bunch of sugars and man-made stuff and prepackaged, pre-processed, you know, all these types of things. Go for more natural foods, lots of vegetables, lots of pulses and beans and legumes and vegetables and fruits, and you know, and you'll find that when you start fueling your body with those things, everything starts to change. And
the other area that people really struggle with is that they also say they're on medication, and that can cause a lot of people to have issues with their digestive system.
Absolutely.
So we always recommend keeping a journal. Just have a day journal. You know, even if it's your diary or it's whatever it is that you keep on your phone. How do you feel when you eat certain foods?
Exactly.
Does it make you dream? Does it make you have nightmares?
How do you feel the next day?
Exactly. Yeah. And you know, there's a build-up of that over time. It's about our tolerance levels, and you know, it's really important that we make sure that we allocate the right amount of time before we go to bed after our last meal. So what time would you recommend that if somebody was going to bed at 10 o'clock at night, for instance?
Again, everybody's very unique, and your body's unique. And I love that what you said, Sue, about keeping a journal, especially if you're starting to go through some changes or starting to be more aware of how your body feels and what things are affecting you. If you just start a journal and you keep marking down every time you eat something and what you eat. Now, I know that sounds like a bit of a pain in the neck, but using your telephone or a journal or anything that's quite convenient, just by taking a couple of seconds and mark down, okay, at whatever time I munched on whatever, or I had my meals at these different times. And as you're doing it, just make a note in your in your phone or wherever. And you will all of a sudden become very aware on how the foods are affecting you. And because everybody's different, again, everybody's unique. Everybody has different work schedules and different need schedules and family issues and different things. So going to bed can be a difficult thing to be aware of what's best for you, but being natural. Again, if you look at the natural sunrise and sunset, I know myself for years, I naturally get up with the sun and I naturally fall asleep with the sun. It's just something I've always done. And I'm always very aware of the foods that I'm eating. Another point I just wanted to touch on really quickly, you had mentioned about medications, and a lot of people are on medications. You'll also find if you swap your foods, your processed and quick foods and easy processed foods to more natural fruits and vegetables, that any kind of pharmaceuticals and medication that you're taking, your body will be able to work with it a whole lot better because you're combining something natural with something natural and something not natural. But if you've got something natural combined with something unnatural and more unnatural stuff, it becomes very, very difficult for your body to be working on all that stuff while you're trying to figure out, how do I get some sleep? How do I shut the mind off? How do I take care of my health? How do I lose weight? Like Sarah was saying about how the body can gain weight and create all kinds of issues if you're not aware of the choices that you're making and the lifestyle that you're living. So by keeping notes, that's vital to taking control of your life and your body.
And then we've got some great remedies for you, natural remedies to help you sleep that statistically, scientifically, have been proven over and over again to really help you. Supplements that you can take that are natural. One of my favorites is magnesium. I'm a great believer in taking magnesium. Yes. And ideally, magnesium needs to be combined with calcium, and that allows the absorption of magnesium to be a lot a lot better into the body. And again, clinical studies have been done to say that if people take between 400 and 500 milligrams of magnesium, about an hour to 2 hours before they go to bed, that it does help as a muscle relaxant. It helps to calm the nerve endings, the central nervous system, and actually you find that you have a much more relaxed and calm sleep.
Yeah. And you might ask, what's the best source of magnesium? Well, besides natural foods, which you can get magnesium in all kinds of different natural foods and vitamins and minerals, you can also get magnesium from coenzyme Q10, which I highly recommend because it helps your body rather than storing up. Because people who take a lot of magnesium, it can actually start storing up in the body. But using a product like coenzyme Q10, the body actually naturally produces it from the combination of what it is that's in that. So you don't get that buildup or that storing or different issues from the different brands that maybe are making the magnesium in different ways.
Mm. The other one is a favorite of mine is ginkgo biloba. That's a really good supplement to take if you're struggling. And a lot of people do suffer from insomnia. So having the natural remedies around you is really, really important. Lavender, again, I know we've recommended lavender before, and you just put a couple of drops of lavender essential oil onto a tissue and then slide it in between your pillow and your pillowcase, so that it's just literally wafting, and it does help to calm you down.
Or if you wear pajamas or a short or anything, you can put it on the collar or on the sleeves.
Yeah, that's really good. And then we have valerian. That's also been found as a herb, as a natural herb. So valerian tea can be very nice.
Absolutely.
Taking some chamomile with valerian tea and, again, making it into a ritual so that you're preparing your body to sleep. Music, that's another big one.
Yeah, music. I know a lot of people like noise, and some people say, oh, I need the TV on in the background or whatever to help me sleep, or listening to something will help me sleep. I always, again, coming back to nature, wind, rain, waves. One of my favorite is the sound of the ocean waves. I put that on and I'm out in seconds. So yeah, sound can be very beneficial. Again, especially if you're in an environment that maybe isn't 100% quiet. You maybe have some noisy neighbors or, different things going on in your environment. Natural sounds like running water, as you may know, helps to drown out a lot of noise. Whereas music and talking and things, it's actually one vibrational sound on top of another. So you're almost doubling the noise that you're hearing rather than drowning it out. Where natural sounds drowned out and eliminated. Just like natural scents, like the aromatherapies and things. Instead of adding more chemicals to the air, it actually eliminates it and detoxifies the air. So.
And a little bit of meditation,
Yes.
There's a lot of meditation tapes that are out there. Tapes, I sound so old.
Yeah. Old-fashioned, on an 8-track. Do you still play your 8-tracks?
Old-fashioned girl here.
Yeah.
But, just literally making sure that you just give yourself time. And as Sara was saying, time to breathe and breathing correctly. And one of the great things about meditation is it does take you back to your breath. So once you're in that nice rhythm breath, it can help you relax and restore. And this is not just for adults. This is a wonderful way to actually ensure that your children learn the techniques of sleep, because, that can be a very stressful part of their day as well. If they feel, oh no, I'm going to sleep, I'm going to be on my own, I don't like my bedroom, I'm going to be alone. All of these thoughts, where if it becomes their special place and magic, and it's set up in the right way. I know when my children were quite young, we did it together. We created the space that they wanted so that they had their perfect setup.
Yeah, we've spoken a bit about some of the coaching and consulting that we do with families. And that's one of the big things that we actually look at first is sleep patterns, sleep habits, and getting ready for the bedtime. Sometimes it's, you go to people's homes and it's a fight right down to the time that they go to bed, and the children are going to bed angry and they don't want to be there and they're upset and parents are slamming the door and it just becomes a big chaos for everybody. But if you teach children that bedtime is a precious time and an enjoyable time and a relaxing time, and you start shutting things down and preparing, like Sara was saying, having a bit of a ritual that starts at least 1 hour, if not 2 hours, before bedtime. just starting to calm down, slow things down, turn off the lights, turn off the electric, turn off, maybe light some candles, get some aromatherapy going, and prepare your environment for the sleep. And like we talked about the other day, about journaling. So if you've got a bunch of stuff on your mind, write it down. Because as soon as you write it down, your brain kind of goes, okay, now I can relax. I don't have to keep thinking about it. Otherwise, you're laying in bed thinking, I got to do this, and I got to do that, and I'll remember to do this. Oh, crap, I forgot to do that. You're going to have a very difficult time sleeping in a restful, peaceful environment when your brain is on fire.
So we hope that you will this evening, when you eventually get to your bedroom tonight, have a very peaceful sleep and take on board some of the information that we learned today. And we're very grateful for Sara for joining us today from Hastens. And the link is running along there if you want to discover these incredible beds and wonderful bed linen that they have. And do follow us on Rijooviness TV. We are back on Friday and we have an amazing guest for you. We have the amazing Armand, who's an international makeup artist. He's world-renowned, and he's going to be sharing about natural beauty techniques, using vegan makeup, and how the trends are changing with makeup, and his experience, his expertise, and sharing some of our stories. So thank you so much for joining us. Do follow us at rijooviness.com, also on this channel, and we very much look forward to seeing you again on Friday, same time, same place. And thank you so much for joining us.
And remember, if you'd like to join us, you'd like to be a guest on Rijooviness TV, or you'd like us to discuss specific topics, feel free to send in that information. Join us on the social media sites or make comments on our Facebook page, and you can get a custom-made show for you. And you can join us and be involved in, because this is all about helping you and sharing our wisdom. So thank you very much for joining us. I know we've gone over tonight with all the excitement with Sara, and we look forward to seeing you in the next show.